Enchanted Forest. Yeah, I don't know. Back of their D&D world. Look at this.
Look at that.
Look at that one.
That almost looks alive.
That's cool.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it is.
It almost looks alive, doesn't it? Yeah.
It does.
It's very true.
There's
There's another one. Look at this. Look at that one.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's cool too. I haven't seen that one yet.
Well, hi, nerdy friends. We are here at the Plains Indian and Pioneers Museum in Woodward, Oklahoma. Today, we came to look at this book called Platt Book, and looking for places to go metal detecting. But we also thought we'd show you our beautiful museum. So let's go on a walk. So Case Eagle, originally a trademark for J.I. Case Company, a manufacturer and dealer of farm equipment. The statue of Old Abe would be mounted on the roof of Case dealerships. Frank Baird painted this one and proudly displayed it on the front porch of his home in California. Frank and Jenny Baird Collection.
So Frank was from Moreland originally.
Right.
So he grew up in Moreland. And he was an artist, a hairdresser. He was in aviation, and he also was a ventriloquist.
Oh, that's cool.
So we have a whole exhibit that this is kind of showcasing as our newest exhibit on the Frank and Jenny Baird. So
Honestly, the last time I was in here was so many, like literally decades ago.
yeah.
And things have changed.
Yeah, for sure. One thing that hasn't changed though are these murals. They've been here since '66 and the two on the end '67. So normally when we invite people into the museum or they come to visit, we do a little oral interpretation of what's going on in the murals because they tell a story of early Woodward and the area. They were done, the 6 of them that you see that are very detailed, and they're in that same style, is done by Paul Lawn. Paul was born in 1899, and he went on to become a well-renowned artist, most notable for some of his illustrations in the Hardy Boys series. Yeah. So he did some illustrations in some of those.
I loved those.
And he was commissioned in 1966 to do these 6 murals depicting early Woodward. Oklahoma, followed by nomadic people, and by nomadic meaning they traveled around. They weren't in just one place, and they
just the
hunted.
it's more sustainable that way.
Really, I don't know why we ever switched from that, but
Because we want to be secure, I guess.
that's why we all are dying. But
Yeah.
they hunted bison and gathered wild plants and all that good stuff, and the early 90s brought a pretty interesting find. So it's over in the, I would say, Fort Supply area. They call it the Cooper site. And it was, as you see in this little depiction here, they found what they call like a kill site. And what they did is they would drive the bison into the gully there, and then they would kill them. So they went to start excavation in that area when they found and realized that this had happened. And in that, they revealed one of the oldest, actually I think it is the oldest piece of art ever found in North America.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a bison skull with a lightning bolt, a red lightning bolt painted on it. And it was found in our neck of the woods, so that's pretty cool.
Right.
The actual bison skull is housed at the Sam Noble Museum in Norman, but we get to say it was found here.
Yeah,
even though we don't have it in this museum.
You know, that's cool. No, because I just read a voracious reader.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just absolutely love and history. I always want to be an archaeologist, paleontologist, oceanographer.
You guys need to come to Ask the Archaeologist. These pieces came from a collection from Meade Ferguson. Meade was a very much into history, a big supporter of all things history and of this museum. And in his passing, his children donated these things, and he was in oil and gas, and so he traveled a lot. A lot of these were actually bought in Europe.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
So somehow in all of it, they are American, but somehow they ended up over there, and then he's over there working and was buying it back up and bringing it back.
When I was younger, I was like, if I was going to be, because I don't know, is that a burial dress or a wedding dress?
it says right
It
there.
just says buckskin dress. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we know
Right.
that piece about it. You know what I mean?
But that's what I was like. It's like when I was younger, I was like, man, I'm buried. That's what I want to be buried in. Because I'm not full native
Right.
at all, as you can tell. I have Cheyenne. Not Cheyenne. I have a Cherokee and Apache.
I have a little Cherokee too, like 132nd. I think.
Yeah. But I have a Cherokee and Apache. I'm mostly white. German, Irish, Scottish, Black Dutch, mostly white.
I get you.
But I really have always believed that the way the natives, if we hadn't come over here, could you imagine how different this country would be?
Yeah, I think about that a lot, honestly.
Like how different we would treat each other, how differently the
I
planet
think it would be a better place
I agree.
if we.
If we had at least gone along with them.
Yeah, exactly.
You
I mean,
know?
I
instead of
completely-
instead of just taking over and doing what we wanted.
Yeah, I think the way that they lived was very honorable, and they were one with the earth, and
Yes.
they respected things.
Yes, yes.
All
They
things.
didn't believe in a person or people owning the land.
Yeah.
The land was here for all of us to share
Yeah.
and to take care of. Like the proper teachings,
Yes.
you know?
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. So what's next in here?
So you're entering into the area we call Northwest Passage. And this is kind of a journey through Northwest Oklahoma. It'll talk about the land run, September 16th, 1893, into the Great Depression and the Dust Bowl, and the Devil in the Night, as they call it, the Woodward tornado of 1947, which was very devastating for the community. So that's kind of what you'll see here. There's a little video going on with actual footage from the tornado, and that's something we've just kind of added is some more video elements to our exhibits as well. And then you'll see this is kind of like a replica of like a parlor room, and then the other one we're still working on is a kitchen exhibit.
I love this.
Yes.
Like this is what my live. Like I can live in here.
The land run. So the land run was when they opened up the land for people to claim, basically.
Yeah, that was after
So-
they moved all the Native Americans.
Right. Yeah.
And told them
So
that this was their
let's
land.
let's move to
Okay.
this.
Okay.
It was, we called it the Cherokee Outlet, and it was a 60-mile wide strip of land south of Oklahoma-Kansas border between what they called the 96th and the 100th meridians. And after the Civil War, the Cherokees were required to renegotiate their treaties due to their alliance with the Confederacy. And in the treaty, which was July 19th, 1866, allowed the United States government to dispose of the land. And then the settlement of several tribes in the eastern part of the Cherokee Outlet closed from the Cherokee Nation, left them unable to use it for grazing or hunting. So after the Civil War, Texans began driving their cattle across the outlet to markets in Kansas, and soon others began using the land for grazing. In the early 1880s, with the support of the Cherokees, the ranchers using the land organized and began fencing individual claims. And so they basically, on September 16th, 1893, the eastern end of the Cherokee Outlet was settled in the Cherokee Strip land run, the largest land run in the United States. So by that, the land opened up, people claimed it. So, yeah. And this here, it says the McDonald's Studio. That was originally the land office.
Oh.
So when people were, claiming the land, everything, then, at the legal side of it was happening in that building,
Why
which
does it
later
say
became
studio?
well, it later became the McDonald Studio, but that building originally
Oh.
was the original land
I
office.
understand.
Another fun thing about the McDonald collection, what we call it that, it was a photography studio that ran from the 20s to the 1990s. And the museum was gifted all the photographs. And
Wow.
there's just so much history. We've been working with the Oklahoma Historical Society on a grant to help us continue the digitization of that. So bringing it digital and bringing it to the public for them to be able to
I would love
to
to
search.
Go to
Well, I will show you how to do it online.
yeah.
So we have about 20,000 images up online, and I'll show you guys how to do that, and you can search names and just look through them. Lots. We've been able to help a lot of people with research and things like that, or businesses just from these pictures in that collection.
Right.
So,
Well, and kind of like you're helping us with our YouTube channel.
Yeah. Interesting. This is Temple Houston. So Temple Houston was the youngest son of the Texas governor, Sam Houston.
That was his actual name, was Temple.
hmm Yeah, and he was very, very smart man. I think he spoke like 7 languages. He was a lawyer, a very good orator. Actually, people would pay to hear him speak.
Right.
And he has what we call the famous speech of Temple Houston, the Soiled Dove speech, in which he basically, it was just organic when he spoke about it.
Right.
And he was defending a lady of the night, we'll say. So very
Hey, there's
interesting
nothing
guy.
wrong with them
Mhm.
ladies.
Yeah. His office looked like. I mean, these are literally his actual books from that office. I mean, those were owned by him, so it's really, really cool. This Colt was his actual Colt as well. This Colt 45.
Oh.
He was, we call him the Lord with the gun because he was pretty loose with that thing. Like, in that video, you hear stories about. Thank you. About Temple got upset with a farmer for. I guess his son, something with his son and a horse, and Temple just shot the farmer in the abdomen.
Oh wow.
How he lived though? I think it was Farmer Jenkins. He lived, but
shots are pretty
yeah.
bad.
So
But yeah, wow. Now, is that what he actually looked like, or is this just?
it's very close replica.
Yeah.
You can kind of see over here.
Oh, yeah.
That's him.
Oh.
His hair it was longer at points. We have some other pictures in the collection.
That's pretty close.
Yeah, so and then there's a picture of him there with his longer hair up in
Oh.
the office there.
Oh, right?
Yep.
Yeah, this chair and that love seat looks like I helped my grandmother when I was a kid. She had a dollhouse. We built a dollhouse and we did our own upholstery and built our own, made our own little furniture, and it looked like that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, I could I'm down for this furniture and this stuff.
Yeah, I know, me too. I like this. It looks like the office I want to have now
I
in
like it.
2025.
Oh yeah, I like the wallpaper
Mhm.
too. It's fun.
Yeah. So Temple, he actually he died at the age of 45 from a cerebral hemorrhage of the brain.
Probably from getting all too free with that gun.
Yeah, he probably
Stressful.
popped himself in that.
Yeah,
you never know. So,
Let's see.
I like that little table in the corner too. The little table with the horns.
yeah.
That's cool.
So this is what we call the Foster room. So we call it that because Myrtle Foster put up the funds. This part we're entering was built in 1978, and that's Myrtle there. But in this room you see like different kind of pieces of Woodward's history as far as businesses. This is the teller cage from the Stock Exchange Bank, which has been, I think,
Give me all your
120
money.
years. Yeah, there you go. And it started in Fargo, but they donated the original, teller cage, so that's pretty cool. This exhibit here, the doctor's office. I always like to talk about the gentleman that you see in that portrait, and that portrait was also done by Paul Lawn. You can see his signature there. But Dr. C.E. Williams, he was an ear, eye, nose, and throat doctor. and him and his wife Anna
I was about to ask.
put
is that
up
his
the
wife?
funds. Yeah, put up the funds to build the original 4,000 square foot building that you guys entered today, and they were very, heavy hitters, and the reason that we're even standing here today doing this video. Yeah, and he and her were just gold people.
They look like lovely people. They really do.
And she was an artist, and she pushed to have the art gallery that we were in when you guys first got here.
Right.
So, and then this is a portrait of Anna, and that's done by Paul Lawn. But then you can see one of her paintings.
Oh, she was really good.
So yeah.
Oh, that's really. Trees are not the easiest. They are when you watch somebody paint the trees, but oh my gosh.
Yeah, and the saloon.
This is cool.
Oh, wow.
This is cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. This is really cool.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite exhibits that we have.
Wow.
I think it's timely, I feel like, in a weird sense. It gives you this vibe. You almost feel like you're,
I'm like, let's go sit at the table and play a game of cards.
Right, cards, and I'm like, I sit here and I can just smell a pipe smoke, even though it's not, you know what I'm saying?
As soon as we opened the doors, I was like, I love that smell.
Yeah, right? I had some kids walk in here one time and with a group, and this little boy goes, "It smells old in here."
Yeah.
Yeah, actually,
That's
accurate.
good.
Yeah.
Good. Then we're doing our. Oh wow! Look at that.
Yep, that's a fire station number
When you turn the
2.
corner.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, so this is what we call our Fort Supply room. So I kind of talked a little bit about the Army camp at Fort Supply, and that's a huge piece of history. So in right form, they dedicated a little room to the historic Fort Supply.
Yeah, we need to go back there. We tried to do some metal detecting on the beach, the swimming area, and my pinpointer battery was dead.
Oh,
my
no.
pinpointer. So yeah, we gotta go back there. We also did through a fishing magnet.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you probably saw it if you watched.
Yeah, I watched it.
Yeah, this is cool.
That is a really neat piece.
Like,
Yeah.
you can't be in there. Yeah, this is really cool. It'll test through everybody's friend.
Wait.
Yeah.
This is cool too. Is that? So I'm assuming that's original.
Yeah, that's authentic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on, guys. 1 second.
You're still getting our voices, right?
Yeah.
That's a big flag.
Yeah.
That is a.
Yeah. So look at the shell too. I was like.
Wow, that's pretty big.
things that we could find metal detecting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And magnet fishing if there's anything. We need to find natural waters, not man-made lakes.
Yeah.
That's really hard to
That's
do.
hard to find in this part of the world. I feel
really
like
hard.
You need to go to like Minnesota or something.
Yeah.
You know, when it's like crystal clear water.
Now, is that blood stain or is it just stain? Do you even know?
I don't.
Because you have to have that
This
stuff
flag
tested.
dates to July 4th, 1890.
Oh, wow.
And it was the last flag to fly at Fort Supply before it closed in 1894. So yeah, really hard telling. I mean, that could be so many things.
So is the fort still at Fort Supply?
So, well, yes and no. I'm saying that like it makes sense, but there is 5 buildings still there, and like they recreated a stockade, but that's not it was not the original one. And they did that in the 90s. But like the guardhouse is still there, and that was the one building that was bricked pretty much, as far as that. I mean, there was other ones, and there's several buildings that's been taken down. Actually, myself and 2 local historians are working on a pictorial book of pictures, and we went out there and kind of took photos of where that place would be in present day if it wasn't there, kind of thing. And then the pictures of the buildings that were still there. So there's like, they call it the Custer House. Custer never actually stayed there. He camped out on the, on the
grounds.
confines of the Beaver River or whatever. But it was where one of the officers' quarters, basically. And
So if we wanted to get permission to metal detect at a place like that, who would we need?
well, honestly, because
I mean, we wouldn't keep anything, or
Sure.
not even necessarily really.
I honestly think we'd have to go through Oklahoma Historical Society because they actually
That's what I
own the
was thinking.
property now.
Then yes,
Yeah.
then
You
that's
know, the Friends
definitely-
group is supporting in that, but they own the property, so it would definitely be something that
that we
Mhm.
okay.
you'd have to.
So that's
But I could help you
get in contact.
get in contact with the right people
Yeah.
to find that out.
Right. Yeah, because that's kind of because that is our main goal here. But I'm loving this. I'm loving this. We're gonna have a heck of a video.
Yeah, definitely.
Harder.
Right?
Hey, Nicholas.
Yeah, get into jail.
That's
the-
wow. That's so cool.
So that jail was in Shattuck.
I was born in Shattuck.
Oh. Yeah.
Nice and comfy.
Yeah.
All I need is a stogie. Actually, this is not much different than the actual jail beds now either. For real, like they're about that comfortable.
They're about that good, huh?
Actually, the wood's probably more comfortable
Mhm.
than the metal slab.
Oh.
Yeah. So I always like to tell people about what's going on in this one, because it's also a really cool thing.
Mhm.
And I may be a little bit biased, but I think Oklahoma history is some of the coolest history. I think Oklahoma is one of the coolest states. I know I was born in Oklahoma, I was raised in Kansas, but I came back to Oklahoma. But there is so much just diversity. It has 12 ecoregions, which an ecoregion is kind of like a, I would have to look it up to give you an even better description of it. But so, you know, kind of the terrain of a place, you know what I mean? So that there's like mountains and there's the plains and there's those pieces. And we have 12 different ecoregions, and we're only one of, I don't know, like 6 states or something like that. I'm kind of pulling that from memory, but it's pretty unique. And so we're close to Alabaster Caverns. A lot of people know about Alabaster Caverns.
When I moved from Washington State, I moved to Freedom, Oklahoma.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so you know.
Yeah.
And that black alabaster that you see right there, that is really unique. It's found in 3 places in the whole world.
Yeah.
Alabaster Alabaster Caverns being one of them. But the other 2 places is a cave in Italy and a cave in China.
Yeah.
And one in Oklahoma. I mean, how cool is that?
That is, and I actually I watched not
amazing.
too long ago a YouTube video about that
About that?
exact
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting. So I always like to point that out.
Right?
You know.
Yeah, because I was like, you're talking about it. I'm like, I actually knew that one.
Yeah.
That one I knew.
About that. Yeah. And Trigo's Western Wear, that's a pretty
Yeah, that's not there anymore.
no, it closed in the 90s, but it was really awesome that Woodward had something like this, because they were manufacturing Western clothing, and it started in the 30s, in a response to a need for women's Western wear.
Yeah.
And so then it just kind of blew up. I mean, they were selling their, you know, Western garb from small town Oklahoma all over the world.
Yeah. That is true.
Yeah,
I think we have a Trigo jacket maybe.
Oh,
at
I
the
bet.
house.
If I find something, I buy it.
Yeah.
You know, I think we have several. But my mother-in-law actually worked in the Trigo's factory.
Right? Didn't we
And-
also have an underwear factory? Too,
Yeah,
at
she worked there
Hanes?
too.
Yeah.
She's a really good seamstress. And it was funny because she said, like, they kind of had different places they start you out at.
Mhm.
At this station, you'd be sewing pockets, or at this, and that's all you do, or whatever.
Right.
And so they'd start you out with kind of the lesser.
Like so this him.
Yeah, the easier stuff, so
Yeah.
to speak. You know?
Follow this straight line.
And whenever they had her there and they watched her and they were like, no, you need to go. And they like sent her like, you know, 3.
Ten.
She was
Yeah.
too advanced for that. You know, they're like,
Yeah.
well, we can use you at the harder stuff. So that's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Now what is this?
This is a printing press
That's what I was about to guess.
from 1907. And this is also a really cool story as well. the Moreland Leader. This is where that comes from. They started, and it still runs today. So they're about as old as Stock Exchange Bank.
Wow.
And this was purchased by Omer Schnoblin. Now the Schnoblin family still runs the paper.
Oh,
So that's really cool and unique that it's been passed
now
down.
that's in Moreland.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because we don't have ours anymore, do we? Or we don't print it
We don't print it
anymore.
I think so. We print and need it.
Yeah, I think you're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, because I worked at the.
Yeah, my mother-in-law
Newspaper.
did too. She was actually one of the ones that
Right.
did some of the printing. Yeah.
Yeah, I would just put I was just putting the stuff together, putting
Together?
the papers together.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a cool job.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. And it's really, you think about because I was telling Nicholas that my degree is in mass communications, and one of the things I was really interested in was newspaper because I love to write. And so I worked for the Northwestern News, and in some of those classes they still kind of taught how it's moved through the years, the progression of how the things changed. And I just think about putting a paper together where you have to take each
Individual letter.
this one, because we were talking about like the McDonald's studio, so this is
Right.
kind of the same feel, but this one highlights Frank Saunders, who also had a studio himself. I think that's actually him right there. But the studio camera that you see in here came from the McDonald's studio, which we had talked about when I was showing you that picture of the building.
God, could you imagine having to load that around? Oh my gosh!
I know.
Surely they had smaller ones for.
Oh yeah, I think so. This one I want to say it's. Oh, it doesn't say the year. I want to say this is like 1912-ish maybe. And this room that we're going to be entering is the Frank and Ginny Baird room that I was kind of telling you about, with that case eagle.
Oh right.
So, he was such an interesting human being. I'm just fascinated with Frank. He was an artist. I mean, like, he painted that. He made those. Yeah, he was a ventriloquist. That's him right there. Doesn't he just look like an interesting character? Like, I just want to hang out with this dude.
You know who he kind of makes me think of?
Who?
Oh, what's his name? Why am I? Bela Lugosi.
Oh, yeah, that's very true. Yeah. So, but he was just a man of many talents, I feel like. Like, he was a hairdresser for some stars, actually. And then there's some jewelry that we don't have out on display quite yet. But he made jewelry, like that lamp, he made that out of a blown engine. There.
Oh, wow.
The lampshade is not in good condition, but
this is
yeah,
cool.
is that not just neat?
Well,
And so he would fly that plane back home. He would fly himself from California here to visit his family. Whenever Frank and Ginny passed, they were living in California, and they didn't have any kids. So there was some lawyers trying to figure out what they were gonna do with all this stuff, and they were very wealthy people as well. And so somehow in the finding, they found the museum, and Frank was from Moreland, and they reached out, and they were able to acquire all of their things, their collection. So like his dolls and his artwork and that, but also the museum got a big chunk of money
The donation.
to help with taking care of their collection, putting this exhibit up, but also just to benefit the museum in general. And so they've done some things to help beef up an endowment, and so we're really thankful for Frank and Ginny Baird and their contribution to life and the museum. And that's actually just part of art that he had in his collection. So this isn't actually one he did. We're not sure who.
It's on felt. That's cool.
Isn't that neat?
That is cool. Well, because I was wondering how they got that color. But no, that's beautiful.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
That's beautiful.
And then we're back into the eating room, and then the gift shop
shop.
Oh,
Gotta always show the gift shop.
Yeah, we actually have artists that have prints. So we do consignment
so
with
you
some
sell
artists. So we
local?
sell some local art and stuff. Like these pieces are Bob Beatley, that he was the Moreland art teacher for 30-something years.
Those are nice too. See, they look like coasters. Are they coasters?
They are coasters.
I would never use that. I would never put glass on that.
Right? I know, it's a piece of art.
I would never put a glass
Yeah.
on that. Especially the condensation. No, it's not happening.
Currently, right now, like our agriculture exhibit is being kind of renovated, so
We can
you'll have
always
to
come back.
you'll have to come back when we get that done, and we can shoot a video out there.
Totally do that.
And then when it's nicer and the
Yeah.
courtyard's prettier, I feel like we should do that then.
This
So.
is actually kind of cool.
Yeah, it is. I love that design. I think it's
Yeah,
really
that
neat
looks
what they
interesting.
did.
Oh, it's a buffalo. I didn't even realize that was a buffalo. That is cool.
Yes. That's true. We can sit here all day and
Oh,
talk
for
about
real.
stuff,
So we really could. So I'm running away.
well, okay then. Bye.